What's up, everybody? So I figured I'd do a quick video on my latest pickup to add to my GOAT, or greatest of all time, collection. For whatever reason this year, I just started to kind of go through each sport and just pick up who I think is the greatest of all time in that particular sport. It's been kind of a fun journey that I still have a lot of work to do on. I wish I would have started this a year earlier because I probably would have saved myself tens of thousands of dollars. Because now I feel like everybody, because of the whole Gary V phenomenon, there are so many people that are kind of looking for opportunities outside of baseball cards, like soccer and, Pokemon, all kinds of different sports that are out there. Not that Pokemon's a sport, but and just trying to see where there are opportunities, cards that are lower in value, that vintage football market, vintage basketball market. But anyway, just to kind of go through some of the cards that I already had. Of course, is the Wayne Gretzky. So you guys know I had this one. A lot of people have been saying, why don't you pick up the OPC version? Definitely on my list of cards that I'd like to get, but definitely think the Wayne Gretzky is the greatest of all time when it comes to hockey. That's pretty much not really debatable, but I guess I'm sure there's some people that debate it. Jordan, 86 Fleer. At one point, I was pretty close on pulling the trigger on a PSA 9 earlier this year, and I wish I had. But I didn't, and unfortunately, I am left with this PSA 6, which is a nice 6, but would like to upgrade one day. But the GOAT of the NBA. Picked this one up earlier, the 2000 Bowman Chrome Tom Brady in a PSA 10. Got this at the lowest point it was. I think I picked this up at like early March, right after he was acquired, once he went to Tampa Bay. So having a decent year, 7-4 with the Buccaneers this year. But anyway, so Tom Brady, at least in my opinion, is the GOAT of the NFL. Although it's probably of the four major sports, to me, the definitely the most debatable in my opinion, of the four major sports: baseball, football, basketball, and hockey. Then, of course, the GOAT in golf. I actually picked up 4 of these at, I believe, $200 a piece. Just kind of bought them as part of the lot, all in a PSA 10 earlier this year, and I'm glad I did, because this card is about a $350 card right now, and a PSA 10. Was competitive for a while in the Masters, but then there was one hole in particular where he just fell apart, and that was the end of his Masters run. Although he did win the Masters in 2019, but Tiger Woods, the GOAT of golf. Now you can see in the background, obviously, I had a couple of Babe Ruth cards, but I went ahead and picked up another Babe Ruth card. The GOAT of baseball, in my opinion, Babe Ruth. This is the 48-49 Leaf in an SGC 6. So you guys know I love this. Will probably be the biggest card that I pick up this year. Looking back, it's going to be close. The Brady that I just showed, the Jeter in a PSA 9. You could probably make arguments that those are the top, but I would probably put this one at number 1 if I were to make a list. But this one, beautiful Babe Ruth SGC 6, got it for what I thought was a really good price, and it's a beautifully centered Leaf card, which is sometimes very difficult to find. Thought I'd mention this one. I picked this card up last year, but this is, to me, the GOAT of baseball cards. If it weren't for Cy Berger and his contributions to the 1952 Topps set and all of his contributions as a Topps executive, we may not be where we are right now with sports cards. So Cy Berger, the GOAT, in my opinion, in terms of executives for within the baseball card world. So that's a auto 10. I got to remove that Nearman 8. It's good enough. Auto 10. That's all that matters to me. All right, guys. So the 2 cards, I have 2 cards. Uh, the first one, I got this card for $18. This is the George St Pierre. So this card, got it for $18, just a random Skype that I went in on. It's interesting. There are a lot of lists out there that have George St Pierre as the greatest MMA fighter of all time. And if you guys, speaking of opportunities, if you guys are looking for cards where there may be an opportunity to grow, I can't think of anything better than MMA right now. A sports industry that's growing. Very little interest in the hobby market for MMA cards. And, George St. For me to be able to get a rookie card, for his rookie card, although I'm not even sure if this is even a rookie card. At least it said a rookie card when I looked it up. Hard to tell with these MMA cards. But if you can get this for $18. Now, in terms of guys that tend to sell for the most, I've noticed that guy Khabib, who seems to be the best MMA fighter right now, tends to sell for the most of any guy in MMA. But George St Pierre is definitely up there, with the greatest of all time. So I'd love to, for those of you that know more about MMA, I'd love to hear your opinion on who you think is the GOAT of MMA and what is the card when it comes to UFC. Just be really curious about that. All right, and so the big card that I picked up to add to the GOAT collection, without further ado, is the 1982 Wrestling All-Stars Series A, Hulk Hogan. So I love this card. Really like the look of this one, even though it's only a PSA 6. Kind of goes along with my buy the card, not the grade. I mean, this card is about as perfect as it's going to be, especially centering left to right. I've noticed that for this particular card, they all seem to be from top to bottom. It looks like a little off, obviously, where should be better centered from top to bottom, but it seems like they're all like that. So I'm not really sure if that's just how it's supposed to be. But here's the back. The discoloration here is probably what brought it down to a PSA 6. That's the only thing I can think of. Besides that, I think it looks like a fantastic card. So part of the reason why I love this card, I love the simplicity of this card. This is even a simpler looking card than like the 52 Topps cards or any, baseball card design that I can remember by Topps. Another interesting thing about this card is there are only 200 of these graded by PSA. So it's a very, very limited supply. If you read the message boards on Blowout, I was reading, they basically said, people are listing the top 5 wrestling cards of all time. And this was pretty much the undisputed number 1 card of all time in terms of, being the most iconic of any wrestling card. So, again, I'd love to, for those of you that know more about wrestling, I'd love to hear your opinion about it. Do you agree? Is this the number 1 most important card within wrestling? I love this card. The Ric Flair is probably number 2 from the same set. And I almost pulled the trigger on the 82 Wrestling All-Stars Ric Flair. But I guess when it came down to it, in my heart of hearts, I just feel that Hulk Hogan is the GOAT of wrestling. And if I'm going to, put together the GOAT collection, as much as I love Ric Flair and the woo, and he's a maniac, and, just learning about him, if you guys haven't seen the 30 for 30 on him, it is fantastic. Ultimate Warrior was my favorite growing up, but at the end of the day, in my heart of hearts, Hulk Hogan is the GOAT of wrestling. So anyway, that's it, guys. Those are my 2 pickups. Obviously, the big one being the Hulk Hogan Wrestling All-Stars Series A card. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later. Peace.